Welcome to the deep dive. We're plunging headfirst today into some really fascinating, pretty mind-bending territory.
Definitely feels that way.
We're looking at Dr. Mrittunjoy Guha Majumdar's book, From Shiva to Schrödinger, and it's more than just a review, right? It feels like an intellectual odyssey.
It really is ambitious. I mean, he's not just comparing Eastern mysticism and Western science. He's aiming for this deep, fundamental synthesis.
Yeah.
He takes Kashmir Shaivism, specifically this Trika philosophy, and puts it right alongside modern quantum physics, cosmology, consciousness studies, the whole lot.
And the goal here, the mission, it's huge. It's basically asking us to rethink everything. The book's provocation is that our identity, reality, and cosmos are not what we think they are.
Audacious is the word.
Totally. Suggesting that, ancient tantric ideas and quantum science might actually be pointing to the same truth.
Which is?
That consciousness isn't just in reality, it is the fundamental layer of reality itself, the bedrock.
Wow.
All right, so let's try and unpack how he even starts to build that case. So first things first, we probably need a little philosophical background, right? To get what Majumdar's building on.
Absolutely. You need the foundation.
His main ancient source is Trika Shaivism. It developed in Kashmir maybe around the 8th century CE, and it's non-dualistic.
Right. Non-dualistic, meaning what exactly in this context?
Well, the core idea is that everything, the whole cosmos, it's all just a manifestation of one single absolute consciousness. They call it Shiva.
And that non-duality, it has huge implications. It's not like some separate God creating the world over there.
No, exactly.
It's more like, Majumdar phrases it nicely, something like, we and the cosmos are emergent waves within the infinite sea of divine awareness.
Wow. So not just made by the divine, but actually part of it, like intrinsically.
Precisely. It's a really intimate kind of connection he's describing.
And Trika apparently has this detailed map. The Tattvas?
Yeah, the 36 Tattvas, or principles of reality. Think of it like levels of existence, starting from the absolute highest, most subtle spiritual states, pure consciousness, and going all the way down, step by step, to the dense physical matter we touch and see.
So it's a whole system mapping everything from spirit to stone.
Basically, yeah. A comprehensive framework for reality as they saw it.
Okay, so we have Shiva, this absolute consciousness, and the Tattvas as its manifestations. Now, Majumdar brings in another Trika concept, one that really starts to connect with physics. Tell us about Spanda.
Ah, Spanda, yes. This is key. It's described as this primal vibration, or like a divine throb.
A throb, not like a sound, though.
No, not a physical sound. It's more like the subtle underlying pulse or oscillation through which Shiva sort of unfolds itself as the universe. Like the universe is constantly, subtly vibrating into existence.
Okay, like a cosmic heartbeat almost.
You can think of it that way. And this is where Majumdar makes a really striking connection. He parallels Spanda with quantum fluctuations in the vacuum field.
Right. This is where my mind started buzzing reading it. Because quantum fluctuations, these are real things science talks about, right? Tiny bursts of energy popping in and out of existence, even in empty space.
Exactly. The quantum vacuum isn't really empty. It's this seething foam of potential energy and particles. Constant activity at the very smallest scales.
So Majumdar is saying both Spanda, this ancient mystical idea, and quantum fluctuations, this modern physics concept, point to the same thing, like a fundamental vibration or dynamism at the heart of reality.
That's the argument. That both traditions recognized in their own ways this essential throb or creative pulse from which everything arises. It's a fascinating bridge he's building.
It really is, and it leads straight into how he uses quantum mechanics more broadly, almost like a philosophical mirror.
He looks at things like superposition, entanglement, the observer effect, not just as weird science facts, but as reflections of these older, deeper truths from Trika. Okay,
let's take one. Wave-particle duality. The idea that tiny things like electrons can act like a particle, a little point, or like a spread-out wave.
Depending on how you measure them, yeah.
So how does that connect?
Well, Majumdar links it to how Trika sees the self, as being simultaneously Shiva, the ultimate, unchanging, formless consciousness, and Shakti, the dynamic energy, the power that manifests everything.
Ah, okay. So the particle is like the specific form, the manifestation, Shakti.
And the wave is like the underlying potential, the formless consciousness, Shiva. It reflects our own sort of dual experience, being this specific person, but also feeling connected, part of something bigger, more formless.
That makes sense. And then there's the observer effect. which always feels particularly strange.
It is strange, the idea that quantum particles don't seem to have definite properties like position or spin until you actually observe or measure them.
It's like the act of looking forces them to choose.
Kind of. It's the interaction, the measurement, that seems to collapse the possibilities into a single actuality. And Majumdar sees this as, well, he calls it an eerie alignment with Trika's view.
Because Trika emphasizes consciousness as the creator of reality.
Exactly. If consciousness, through observation or measurement, plays a role in bringing quantum reality into focus, it really resonates with the idea that consciousness isn't just passively watching the world, but actively participating in its creation.
Which raises that huge question. What is the role of our consciousness then? Is it really shaping reality?
And that question is central. It leads right into perhaps the book's boldest claim, which he grounds in both Trika and his interpretation of quantum findings. Consciousness is primary.
Not just a product of the brain, like most neuroscientists would probably say.
No, not a byproduct of physical stuff. Instead, it's the canvas, as he puts it, upon which all phenomena emerge, the absolute foundation.
So he's tackling the hard problem of consciousness head on. How does subjective feeling arise from objective matter?
Right, and Majumdar basically says science has it backwards. It's trying to build the whole consciousness out of the parts, the neurons. But maybe consciousness is the whole already. Everything else arises from it.
That completely flips the script. It's a massive paradigm shift he's proposing.
It is. And this non-dual perspective, where consciousness is primary, extends to everything. In Kashmir Shaivism, the divisions we see, me versus you, subject versus object, they're ultimately illusory.
Arising from Maya.
Exactly. Maya isn't quite illusion, like fake. It's more like a veiling power, or the creative play of consciousness that makes the one appear as the many. It creates this sense of separation.
Okay, so how does he connect that to quantum physics?
Through quantum entanglement. This is another really weird quantum phenomenon.
Where two particles can be linked, right? Instantly affecting each other, even miles apart.
Yeah, precisely. You measure one, and you instantly know something about the other, faster than light could travel between them. It's as if they aren't truly separate entities, despite appearances.
Their separation is contextual, not fundamental, as the book says.
Exactly. Just like Trika says, the individual self isn't really separate from Shiva, the absolute consciousness. The separation we experience is part of Maya's play, but underneath, there's this fundamental unity. Entanglement, for Majumdar, is like a physical demonstration of that underlying non-locality and interconnectedness.
So, again, it's not necessarily that entanglement causes non-duality, but it's a phenomenon in the physical world that seems to echo or support that philosophical view.
That seems to be the way he frames it. It's an ontological alignment, a scientific finding that resonates deeply with a core mystical truth about interconnectedness, suggesting separation is emergent, not basic.
Okay. Now, he also brings in the Shakti triad, Icha, Jnana, Kriya, usually understood as spiritual powers, will, knowledge, action.
Yes, the divine powers of will or intent, knowledge or cognition, and action or manifestation. But Majumdar does something really innovative here.
Which is?
He interprets them not just as inner spiritual powers, but as fundamental cosmic functions that are mirrored in quantum processes.
Whoa. How does that work?
So he suggests Ika, the will or intent, is like the quantum potential, the wave function holding all the possibilities before measurement, the realm of pure probability.
Okay.
Then Jnana, knowledge, is like the act of measurement or observation itself, the moment of knowing, which selects one outcome from all those possibilities.
Right, collapsing the wave function?
Exactly. And Kriya, action, is the result, the collapse into a definite physical state, the potential becoming actual, manifesting in the world.
So this triad isn't just about personal spiritual development. It's a model for how the universe itself, decides what happens. A new kind of causality.
That's the implication. It offers this alternative interpretation of causality that's not just billiard balls hitting each other, but involves something akin to potential, knowing, and action unfolding at a cosmic level.
Which suggests a universe that's maybe less mechanistic and more, dynamic. Maybe even participatory.
Definitely. It hints at an inherent agency, or let's say intelligence, in the way reality unfolds. It really departs from classical deterministic physics and points towards something more active, more involved. He builds this conceptual bridge showing how quantum mechanics itself might hint at this.
This rethinking extends to time and matter too, doesn't it?
Yes. In Trika, time isn't seen as this straight line moving forward. It's more cyclical. And matter isn't the fundamental stuff. It's seen as condensed consciousness.
Condensed consciousness.
Yeah.
Wow. And he connects the time aspect to modern physics,
He does. He points to ideas in physics, like from loop quantum gravity or block universe theories, where time might not be fundamental either. It could be emergent.
meaning it arises from something deeper, something timeless.
Potentially, yes. Or from the structure of space-time itself. The point is, it challenges our everyday Newtonian view of time as this absolute river flowing uniformly.
So he's saying see time more as an experiential artifact, something our consciousness constructs, rather than an objective feature of the universe.
Pretty much. And the fascinating thing is, you find physicists and mystics increasingly converging on this idea that our linear perception of time might be just that, a perception, not the ultimate reality.
That convergence is really striking. What about cosmology? The big picture, the universe's origin.
He tackles that too, using Trika concepts. Prakasha, which means light, illumination, pure consciousness, and Vimarsha, which is like consciousness's own self-awareness, its ability to reflect on itself.
Okay, light and self-reflection. How does that relate to the Big Bang?
He suggests the universe didn't just pop out of nothingness in the Big Bang. Maybe it emerged from this primordial self-reflective awareness, the universe waking up to itself in a sense.
So the Big Bang wasn't just physics, it was a cosmic act of self-realization.
That's the radical idea. And the expansion of the universe, then, isn't just inertia, but it's seen as Shiva manifesting as Shakti, the unfolding of potential Shiva into active existence, Shakti.
This all ties back to the observer, doesn't it? This idea of a participatory universe.
Absolutely. He echoes scientists like John Wheeler, who proposed the participatory anthropic principle. The idea that observers' consciousness might be necessary for the universe to even be the way it is.
So Majumdar argues we co-create the universe through observing it.
Yes. Much like in yogic traditions, the practitioner uses awareness and intent to shape their reality, both inner and outer. He's suggesting our observation isn't passive, it's an active participation in cosmic manifestation.
Which is a huge challenge to the standard scientific view, right? That the world is just objectively out there, whether we look or not.
It's a direct challenge to pure objectivism, yes. It implies a much deeper entanglement between consciousness and the cosmos.
So after all this, I mean, what's the takeaway for us? What does this all mean?
Well, the ultimate goal in Trika philosophy is something called pratyabhijna, recognition.
Recognition of what?
Recognition that your own consciousness deep down is Shiva, that you are not fundamentally separate from that absolute consciousness, realizing your true nature.
And the book suggests science is doing this too, in its own way.
Kind of. That science, in its quest to understand the universe, is also on a path of self-recognition, even if it doesn't label it that way. It's probing the nature of reality, which, if consciousness is primary, is ultimately probing the nature of consciousness itself.
So Majumdar is pushing for this integrative spirituality, one that's not about dogma, but is rational, experiential, introspective.
Exactly. It's about using all the tools we have, science, introspection, philosophy, maybe even contemplative practice, to understand the whole picture, to see how the outer journey of scientific discovery and the inner journey of self-discovery might actually be converging.
It's been quite a deep dive, exploring Dr. Majumdar's From Shiva to Schrödinger. It really is a masterful piece of work. Trailblazing, definitely.
It genuinely challenges paradigms, works hard to dismantle those old dualities between spirit and matter, science and mysticism. It's trying to build real bridges.
And it leaves you grappling with these massive questions, doesn't it? What is consciousness? Can science and spirituality really find common ground, or is it just analogy?
And that ultimate question, is the universe aware? Does it know itself? The book doesn't just give abstract answers. It kind of nudges you towards seeking your own direct realization, your own experience of these possibilities.
We should probably add, though, it's not exactly light reading.
Oh, definitely not. It's not a beginner's guide. You need to be ready to engage with some dense philosophy and some fairly complex scientific ideas.
And some readers, especially those leaning more towards scientific skepticism, might see some of the connections, like directly mapping consciousness onto quantum wave functions, as more metaphorical than literal.
That's fair. There are interpretive leaps. But if you approach it with an open mind willing to explore both sides, it is incredibly thought-provoking, really rewarding.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening to mull over. As you go about your day, just consider this. How deeply might your own awareness, your consciousness, be tangled up with the actual fabric of the universe? What if you're not just a spectator looking at reality, but somehow actively participating in its constant creation, moment by moment?
Yeah. What if observing isn't just seeing, but also somehow doing? Makes you think.
Yeah. And if you enjoyed this, please do like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in.
And we look forward to having you join us for our next deep dive.